I'm Miss Francois. As always, that's MSS because I'm multi-talented and super sexy. You're watching the Miss Francois Show. And if you don't know that by now, you should be ashamed because we're in season 4, coming close to the end. But that's why I made sure to have an amazing guest by the name of Anitra Knowles. No, not related to Beyonce or anything like that,
Thank
but
you.
close enough. She's a mother. She's an author, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Her book today is called Treacherous, a twisted love story. I read that book. Good stuff. So say hello to Anitra Knowles. Hi, girl.
Hi, how you doing, Miss Francois?
Yeah,
Hi,
you better get it
everybody
right.
else.
So I see here, as I said, your mother. How many kids do you have?
I have one. I have one.
One.
My
Oh,
daughter's 16. Well, excuse me, she'll be 16 in August. So,
okay. Then look, when people say their mother, I expect you to be like 3, 4 kids. All right, we'll just go with
nope,
that.
I learned my lesson at one. One was enough for me.
Oh, you're not planning to have any more?
No, I don't want any more children. I
We're
am getting
supposed to
into the
have more
selfish
so you can
stage.
have more love stories to talk about.
Oh no, I always find love stories to talk about, child. That's not a problem. But I don't have to have more kids to do it. I'm good with my she's independent. She minding her business right now with her friends. So that works for me.
That's awesome. Now, I wanted to tell people we're going to be talking about basically your book, right? And your book
Yes.
is called Treacherous. First of all, how you came up with that name for a book?
Due to the gist of the book, I felt there was no other perfect name than Treacherous because it gets no lower than that, than
So
the
you start,
situation at hand.
so you named the book at the end after writing it, or you named it
Yes.
before?
I named it at the end of the book. I wrote the book first.
Wow, that's interesting. How did you even come up with it? Decided, okay, I want to write a book and I want to write about love, a twisted love, not regular love, but a twisted love. How did that even come about?
I've always been a writer from young. I started out in poetry. I actually wrote that book in the middle of writing another book that I paused and the story came to me and I just went with it and I kept going until I finished it. And that was the first complete book that I completed.
So let me tell you guys something. This book is juicy, okay? And one of the things that I did love about the book is how you started the book. I felt like you started the book from the end. Is that correct? You started it basically somewhat in the middle. It's not like you didn't start like, hi, and my name is John and I live it. So how did you even come up with the concept of how you write the book? Like tell people how you went about coming up with that concept.
I would say for me, I'm a very empathetic person. So when I have conversations with people and I get certain stories, I'm able to see the entire picture from every side. So I'm very unbiased. So I realize I write the way I think. I literally think from every one point of view in the story, what their feelings are, whether they're wrong, right, or indifferent. I'm able to kind of point that out when someone tells me something. And I just went with the flow of it.
Because even in the book, what I realized, you had main characters in the book. Like sometimes people have a bunch of people, but I felt like you focus on the main characters, and the main characters is tell us the main characters, their names.
The main characters are Jaquim, Roger, and Jessica.
Okay, so Jakeem sound like you from the hood, girl. 'Cause
A
you didn't name
little
him
bit, a little
Kevin.
bit.
You didn't name him Bruce.
No, because I had something has to draw you. You know, something has to draw you. Everybody's named Kevin, everybody's a Bruce, everybody's a Sean, a John. And I just was like, Jaquim, let's just do something different. Like literally everything came to me as I went. I did not have a rough draft. I didn't have character building, any of that. It just the story came to me as I typed.
I'm right. That's what I'm saying. Like people like you who write, especially books like these, there's it partly from some things in the past that you draw from. Oh, you just one of the
Oh,
strange people that go
absolutely.
to bed and you get up and you're like, aha, Jakeem.
Sometimes, honestly, sometimes, because I'll get a thought at 2 o'clock in the morning and give myself a voice note like, this is how something has to go. But for this particular story, I was able to kind of draw out certain things from certain situations and certain people. Never want to put anyone on blast, but I was able to draw out certain things and take and put my own spin on it. How I may
Mm-hmm.
have felt the situation could have gone, should have gone, could still go. It all depends.
And during the whole story, you got perspective from each character, which those are the three main characters. But you basically you had them tell their side of the story. Why did you decide to do that? Because this is to me, this is not a typical book how you wrote it. So it's like
Thank you.
everyone is telling their parts of the story. Like why you think you did that?
Because we always grow up with it's three sides to a story: your side, her side, and God's side. And because there are three people that are involved in this story, I know everyone doesn't think the same, and I don't want people to automatically pick a side because you don't know the full story. And especially in today's age with the internet, once you see something, whatever's posted, that's law until someone further investigates or something. And I'm like, no, I don't want people to read this book and just be like, okay, I'm team Jakeem. No, I'm team Jessica. I'm team Roger. No, I wanted you to get the story, the full story from all three people, how it wound up, how we wound it up here, why are we in this situation. Every time we get into a situation, I see it differently, you see it differently,
Mm.
and we can be looking at the same exact thing, and it doesn't matter. You have your opinion and I have mine. So opposed to just oh, this is all Jakeem and he's the no. We have three main characters. Even when I said I'm with my part two, we don't know how it could start. It could start with Jakeem, it could start with Roger, it could start with Jessica. I never want anyone to know my next move. I love to be able to keep everyone guessing.
Well, I'm still team Jessica.
Oh, you saying Jessica? Oh, okay,
Cause,
okay.
and that's what it was. It was hard because first you're like, yeah, Jakeem, that bastard. Then you're like, no, that Jessica. Like it, you kept going back and forth. But in every story you want to choose a. So like when I reached to the end of the book, right? Obviously there's some loose ends at the end of the book. So you're gonna make this a series? Is this gonna be part one, two, and three, or what's the plan for the book?
Well, I know we definitely have a part two. That's definitely going to be coming. However, I don't want to put out that it's going to be a series with that one, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only because the way I think, I may be able to finish it off in part two. I may not want to go that, any further. And because I have other books that I'm writing and want to be able to put out, I don't want to be stuck at I'm only treacherous. It's only treacherous. We only know you for
Treacherous,
treacherous.
one, two, three. Aha,
Right.
a broken story, a hateful story. Like,
And also, a lot of them books, when you have there's 8 books, you might read the first 3, and then depending on how long it takes them to come out, you don't forgot about the book.
oh, that's so
So
true.
I don't want people to forget about the book. So at least, okay, we know we got 1. I want to see 2 coming. I may be able to stretch this to 3. It all depends, but depending on how the story unfolds for me, 2 may be the last book.
Okay, so you will have to read the first book and stay tuned to see what she does with the second book, but you never know with her brain how it works. You might see a number 3, okay? So you heard it here on Mss Francois Show first. With that said, right? Like inside the book, it had I felt like you focus some things on like mental health and stuff like that. So when it comes around mental health, is that something near and dear to you, or why did you think that was something to mention or be in the book?
It absolutely is near dear to me because we grow up. What goes on in this house stays in this house. That's the generation I'm from. You don't tell our business, and sometimes you have to tell. You need to tell, and when we don't tell and we hold on to certain things and internalize it, it affects our mental health. And as a Black community, I feel like it's such a stigma to even talk about mental health. Once you talk about, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, or you're automatically labeled as crazy. Oh, this person out their mind. No, they're not out their mind. There's something going on with them. And I feel like if I can put it in a way where you're interested in your reading, but at the end you kind of see a lesson where go and talk to somebody. Certain situations do not have to get so extreme because you neglected to just have a moment of self-care. Just block out the world for an hour and meditate or listen to music or whatever it is you do that makes you feel good. Do that, because that is a big part of your mental health. You have to.
And with that even said, right, which is a obvious good point. Like this whole book to me was a kind of roller coaster ride. It's like, yeah, I think I know, but no, I don't know. Or I can't believe he did that, or I can't believe she said that. I can't believe that happened. And tell me a little bit about, again, we're not giving off anything really about the book itself,
Right.
but it's a father and son. Like what, just tell me basics, the kind of relationship that they had.
I would say their relationship was more, the son has mental health issues. You understand? Like there is things that are going on with his mental health. And because the father is so old school or military and just that kind of me man, you woman, caveman mentality at times, there's signs that he really didn't see was a problem. And once things got out of hand, now you have no more control. And now you are all sitting where you are sitting and trying to figure out a way out of this situation because you didn't take and put in that time to him. And you understand what I'm saying? Like you have to put in the time to your kids. So once you stop doing that and then you may cross a line and go a certain way, you can't be surprised that now my son is bugging out. What's going on? The signs were
Okay,
there. You just didn't want to listen.
and the signs were there, and that's come love could be all here 1 minute and then put you down at such a low. It's like such an emotional situation. Like that whole book was so intense. You were scared, you was confused, you trying to figure out an answer to help, and still you battling who's right, who's wrong, should someone be hurt, or how hurt should you hurt them. And we're going to take a break, but the next question I'm going to ask you when you come back is, one of the things in the book is hurt people, hurt people. I wanted to talk about that for a second. And I'm also going to have you read, I guess, one of your favorite paragraphs from the book so people can have an idea of what they getting themselves into on the roller coaster ride they're about to have. All right, so you guys come on back. You're going to hear more about Treacherous, a Twisted Love Story by Anitra Knowles. Hi guys, did you miss me? Of course you did. I mean, who would miss all of this? So I am back here with Anitra Knowles, the author of a treacherous, because you know I have an accent, it doesn't sound right when I say things, a twisted love story. Okay, and what I definitely want her to do now is she's going to read a particular paragraph. I guess one of her favorite paragraphs from the book is from page 13. Every page is amazing. And I'm telling you, after she reads this, you'll be like, thank you, Miss Francois. And thank you, Anitra, because I'm definitely getting the book. All right. So,
Yeah.
Anitra, it's your time, girl.
Okay. So we have Jessica's begging brought me back to reality. I looked down and this girl is on her knees with snot coming out of her nose. King, please just talk to me. I love you. Jess was really trying to plead with me. I hate looking at her tear-stained face. I could see the hurt and the fear in this bitch's eyes. Looking at her like this was killing me more inside than she would ever know. I never wanted to be the one to hurt her. I love this woman with everything in me, but she broke me.
That bitch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, why does that love drives people to do the craziest thing? Like
Because
you basically just read like he loved this person, obviously in whatever situation he has her crying, and why is love so? It's like why does love
treacherous.
hurt?
Like, but you know what I've grown to realize as we get older, love really doesn't hurt.
Hmm.
Not when you're being loved correctly. It doesn't.
Throw the
You
mic on
understand?
the floor, stomp up on the
Like,
mic, and
yeah, honestly, because something that I was watching the other day, and the little boy hit the girl, and you know the old saying, "Oh, he hit you because he liked you,"
yeah,
and it pissed me off. As I got older, like it really pissed me off. I was like, that's something that we have to stop conditioning our children to believe, Because then when they're older and they're in abusive relationships, we're wondering why they're staying. Because he hit me, so he likes me. He punches me in my eyes, so he loves me. And we know that that's not genuine love. So I feel like we let it take us so far, especially into the toxic arena, because that's what we were conditioned to believe. We were conditioned to believe that if you're not fighting all the time, or you're not arguing all the time, he's not really fighting for your love, or he really doesn't care about you.
In your book, it had hurt people, and explain that for people more to understand what hurt people means.
It's a cycle. When, like we say, when you raise a child from, and it all starts at the end of the day, all our behaviors start as a kid. It's what we're poured into. And I'll tell you in a heartbeat, like my mother would always say to me, I might have not taught you, right and wrong, but I taught you how to do wrong the right way. And that's not an okay statement. You
Okay.
understand? So
Yeah.
growing up, and your best example, I was a product of foster care, so I've been through the system. I can go two ways. I can have that pain that I've been through, certain situations, and I could have raised my daughter in the same type of environment. I could have showed her a lot of the things that I went through, and that's me being hurt, and I'm hurting her growth. I'm stopping her from knowing that love is not toxic, because all I know is toxic. That's not fair for me to
Right.
pass down. You know what I'm saying? So I chose my experiences to actually have my self love. Like, no, she will never know what foster care is. She will never know what a shelter is. She will never know what being having a drug addicted parent is. I cannot allow her to know these things. Unfortunately, there are people that don't know how to forgive and let go.
That's what I was
So
going to ask you. Like, what makes a difference between someone in your exact situation that'd be like, well, because I was in this exact situation, this is all I know and this is all I can teach. When you decided to do better.
one, I have to give it to my village. I have a couple of young ladies that have always supported and poured into me to let me know, like, I am worthy and I can be more. So I did have someone at some point, even though it was later in life, to get that and to build me up. But I also think it's because of how empathetic I am. I knew I didn't like how I felt in those times. So I could never bring myself to allow someone else to feel what I felt. It took a lot of growing. It took a lot of time. It wasn't something that was overnight, because I was definitely angry when I was younger and didn't know why I was angry, or just lashing out and doing things I had no business doing. But once I kind of seen what I was doing and realized that the anger I'm holding on to, I have to let go. And it's not for them. It's not for the people that hurt me. I have to let it go for me, because I was literally stunting my own growth. I was in my own way, because instead of me deciding there's more to this world, I wanted to be angry. And once you angry, you blocking your blessings. You don't see nothing but anger.
Yeah. So you see, this is my thing. It's always good to have an example like you, because people always think, oh, well, this is it and I can't do any better. And it's good to know someone like you could, from whatever, and I'm sure, goodness gracious, some of the stories you might be able to tell. But look at you being
Baby,
able to raise your daughter. She's turning 16, being able to be a speaker, author, to be able to share. I'm sure all these little stories that's in here comes from a bunch of little experience all over for you to be able to write a book, to be able to say, I'm going to have a part two, to have another book. So I always say, obviously, you took the past, and like I say, you take your pain and make it your purpose.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And Lord
And
knows I
with
have a lot of pain.
and this is like a healing process. Like you even writing a book, being, it's a healing process, and people don't understand these things. Sometimes you do wish you haven't gone through certain things, but when you see the blessings from some of the things that you have been through and how you could help other people, it turns to good. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad you had a hard life growing up.
I
Okay.
am too. Honestly, I am too. I'm like, I don't want to be privileged. I wouldn't know nothing. I wouldn't feel nothing. So no, I'm glad. I would, as crazy as the things I've been through, for not one moment, if I can go back in time, I would change it. And that's from even down to being born. Like I would not change, not a eviction, not a shelter, not a system, not a home, nothing. I wouldn't change it because I genuinely know that's what makes me who I am. And I love me. I love my personality. I love who I'm becoming and who I'm still growing into. So there's no way in the world I could change that. I
I love that. I
people sit
love the
down.
confidence. She came on the show all nervous in the beginning.
I
You see
was,
the
I was.
confidence oozing out of her. She's
It's
like, I
there, it's
love
there.
me. And you love you too.
That's right.
And even when you was talking about like drug, like for mom being on drugs, so forth and so on, it had drugs mentioned in the book. Like, why did you feel like you needed to add drugs, and how does drugs play a certain role in how people react towards other people, especially in love relationships?
Because drug is the alternate. It alternates you. And what people also don't realize, in any drug, whatever emotions you may feel in subconsciously that you may not even realize that you're feeling or dealing with, once you're on a certain drug or you're doing certain things, it brings that other side out and you have no control. It's that alter. Even with the drinking, for Jakeem, his drug of choice was the alcohol. And with that, it takes you into a whole different realm. There's people that drink till they're blacked out, and then when they wake up in the
Mm.
morning, they don't remember anything that they've done. And you've heard a whole lot of people the night before, and you're waking up thinking everything is cool. No, you can't be cool. You just told this man the most disrespectful thing in America and slapped him. Yes, he still has beef with you today, just because you forgot about it. So you have to really think about that, the way it alters your mind and the things that you do at times. You have to really take a stand for yourself. I guess you have to know when enough is enough. You have to know that I don't like how I feel when I'm this person, because there's no one that can, I don't know anyone that can take drugs and they're literally the same exact person they were.
Right, definitely. And even with that, one of the other things Jessica had mentioned is that I love him too much to leave him. When what people are going through, and it could be, and like you said, they have so many different kind of abuses, right? Mental, financial, whatever the case might be, verbal, physical. Why is it so hard for someone to let go and leave that person, even though they know they should?
Sometimes you have people that don't realize that they may have abandonment issues. Every person, you have to understand, even with Jessica's story, and I touched on it a little bit in the book, like she may not have had the most present parents. You understand? So now we're dealing with someone that really may have abandonment issues and feels like those that always come around leave. So I don't want to be the person to leave. I love you, so I can't leave. If you really loved me, you wouldn't leave. So that's something that she may not even realize that she has internalized. And that be my thing. We internalize a lot of things growing up that we really don't realize still affect us in our adulthood. Even triggers in the way we move, it affects us. And we hold on to things sometimes that we just genuinely do not need to hold on to. We all have, especially us as women, we love so hard and we're so vulnerable. And if you're a woman that doesn't like to be vulnerable and open up, so for you to take the time and do that, you're going to try everything in your power to hold on to this person. And most of the time, we're not holding on to the person. We're holding on to the image in which we fell in love with. We're holding on to their potential. I know if he just stops drinking, he'd be the perfect man for me. If he didn't hit me, he would be perfect. If he just got a better job. And we're waiting for these changes and hoping that they come because I see you. But the problem is that person doesn't see them. I don't see myself. So you're holding on to me because oh, once I get it together, I would be great. But guess what? I don't see that greatness in me. So I'll never be able to treat you with the potential that you fell in love with. Because you didn't fall in love with me. You fell in love with me. I realize we don't fall in love with people at times. We fall in love with their potential. We fall in love with what we see they can be. And until they see they can be that, it's always going to be the toxic. It's always going to be you holding on and needing to let go. And sometimes we have to realize we come into people's life just to help them grow for the next person.
Yeah, but I
I
don't
did
like
that
that,
too.
okay? It's so
Absolutely. It's very
frustrating.
frustrating, right? I done been with you 5 years and you be to tell me now you want to go over here. But you know what? It's okay because you learned something being with this person. And yeah, you helped them grow and they helped you grow too. Because guess what? Now you know what you won't tolerate.
Mm.
So you're not going to
Amen. That's
tolerate
a
that from the
Bible
next one.
verse, girl.
You understand?
So, guys, you hear the passion in her voice, right? So this book have betrayal. The book has love. It have drugs. It have sex. It has abuse. It have everything you're looking for in a treacherous story. Okay. So definitely get the book. I just want to ask you, what are just one or two lessons you definitely want someone to take away from the book? Because to me, no matter what book you write and what context, is always some lessons to learn from it.
Well, the number one lesson that I want people to learn from it is you have to have self-care. I want you to really realize with this book, like if I don't take a moment for myself, I can snap. And I feel like sometimes we're all one bad conversation. Somebody stepped on my foot, you kicked
Mm,
me away from a complete snap, especially when you're holding everything in. So I want you to realize it's okay to just let it out. It's okay to cry, man, woman, them, they, I don't care. Just get it out. And that's genuinely how I feel. And I want people to take from it. And then I also want people to understand that just because somebody family, just because you love them, just because they raised you, parent, whatever, you do not have to keep yourself in a toxic situation, especially because this is a way that it can end. And especially in today's time with the things that's going on and people getting killed left and right by spouses because they were ready to leave, it doesn't have to get to that point. It's okay to cut people off for your sanity, for your peace. Fight for your peace.
all right, well said, Miss Anitra. With that said, tell people again where to get the book, and if they want to contact you, where's the best place to contact Anitra Knowles?
Yes. So you want to get this book, please do Treacherous, A Twisted Love Story. It is available for digital download on Amazon.com as well as BarnesandNobles.com. Also, it is inside Barnes and Nobles for print on demand. You can walk inside any Barnes and Nobles, just tell them the title, and they will get you a copy printed up. And also, you can reach out to me on Tell It Like It Is at Instagram. DM me. I have my own paperbacks. I take Zelle, Cash App, all that good stuff, and I can mail you a copy as well.
And don't worry, guys, as always, I'm going to put it at the bottom so you know exactly where to go and where to reach out and where to get this book. Thank you so much, Anitra, for coming on the show. So you all guys know exactly where to find Miss Francois. It's very easy. Website, MSS Francois, all social media. It's not that hard, people. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. All right. Thank you again, Anitra, and
Thank you
have
for
an
having me.
amazing day, love.
You
Thank you.
too. Thank you.